First live video on the phone here. I was going through and writing down the approximate times that different stuff happened in the hour and something minute long video. I got about 14 minutes into it at like 2 minutes and 14 seconds, 4 minutes and something seconds, and 11 minutes and something seconds are the stuff that I was saying in my last video that people were claiming that they were saying. Well, I did record them. They did know I was recording them. These are people who say that well, they're not hiding anything. They're not afraid of anything that they're saying being posted on YouTube. Some of it I think is a bit personal, but it happens. Anyway, I've been hearing about Andrew Wolnez bullying people, and I've been hearing these people who are being bullied saying that they're going to hurt him if he doesn't stop. But also, I try to encourage them to, instead of doing that, help the other victims by turning it in together. If we go in individually, we get treated individually like we're schizophrenic or delusional idiots. But if we go in together and we make sure that we record it for our safety, well, that helps. That's what needs to be done. And I try to discuss that with them. Anyway, I got to go down to one of the stores here. I needed to get some art supplies yesterday, and I didn't get pencil sharpener. And I do have pencil sharpeners. They're just buried in storage. I have one pencil sharpener in here, and it's a cheap little flimsy plastic thing, and I'm afraid I'm gonna break it. So I'm gonna go get one of those aluminum frame things. That way I can actually sharpen my Prismacolors. I'm not that great of an artist anymore because of the nerve damage situation, but it's still something that when I'm working on drafting some of my ideas, I don't actually draft them. I just run up some quick sketches. But if I can put it in color, that'll help to differentiate, one piece from another. It'll help to differentiate one type of piece from another, help me to color code it and such. Looks like there's a bunch of people saying hello. Hello, everybody. There's very likely going to be some trolls that get on here and want to harass me and bully me and things of that nature. So just know that there's people who are probably going to do that. They don't do that in every single video because obviously the people who have been stalking me, they have to find time to poop, time to feed themselves. Some of them have jobs, I'm sure. It seems to me with how often they make videos to harass me and how many of my videos they watch, they probably don't have jobs. So since I'm going out in public and I'm able to record live now, that helps to keep me safe. That makes it so that instead of me having to go to somebody for help or spend hours trying to post-process something that I recorded so that I can obviously utilize internet and a bunch of time to try to post it up on YouTube. I mean, it's going to the same place. They don't have to make it so complicated. So I guess there's only a certain amount of these videos that I can make. And it'll be unlimited once I get to 1,000 subscribers, which, I hear YouTube channels always asking for subscribers. Many of the people who are predatory towards me, who are making a profit off of falsifying information, lying about information, selectively omitting information. These are people who know that they're doing wrong. They know that when they've been sent the truth and they intentionally post up something else, when they intentionally cherry pick and pick out one little bit and piece out of context, and then they create their own story to go along with it. Sorry, I was having issues with the connection there. Um, so we got our first something or other. What am I going to do? Well, in real life, I can't just block them. You know what? We're going to leave it there. We're not going to block this one predator. I mean, you get to see he's just trolling. And he's just going to keep on trolling like that. And that's what the majority of my channel has been. Right now, I don't know what happened. We have a lot more viewers on my channel than I'm used to. Now, a lot of you guys may think that these trolls are harmless, that it's just trolling. Well, it's not. I didn't make this channel for entertainment. I didn't make this channel so people could harm me. I made it because I'm autistic and because I am someone who has had Tourette syndrome his entire life, has been autistic his entire life. And instead of people trying to understand what that means, they take the time to prey upon it. When people make mistakes, they want to use the term mentally ill to try to basically peg you as schizophrenic or delusional. Many of you, well, the people who are most likely to victimize us are our own families. When it comes to sexual abuse against a child, the majority of the time, it's one or the other of the parents. When it comes to murder of a child, most of the time, it's one or the other of the parents in equal measure. I got to learn this stuff because I grew up in horrible situations with people who were going through horrible things. I also got to live with some of the people who were doing those horrible things. The person who broke my mom's neck, yeah, that was my little brother Michael's dad. And Michael doesn't fall far from the tree. Now, with the Natalie Bollinger situation, I get these hecklers that they want to come on here and make these statements as if they must be true because they said it. If they say that I'm gay over and over and over again as if it must be true, maybe someone will believe them. Maybe if they say over and over again that I'm a child molester, someone will believe them. Well, believing somebody who's just talking out their backside and my arrest record, well, they just definitely don't line up. My arrest record doesn't have anything like that. Not only have I never been convicted of any such thing, I've never been arrested or even charged with any such thing. And yet here we are all these years later, me still having to deal with being assaulted over that. And I've got a few of the assaults recorded on this channel. My other channel I'm temporarily locked out of because I don't have the ability to do two-factor authentication. Earlier today, I got to hear a man who looks like he's about 20 years older than me. And he was having an issue with two-factor authentication. He said that he didn't ask for it, that his account forced it on him. Well, that's the same thing that was done to me. That account was forced onto me because first we got this guy who's wanting to ask about my. I'm not answering questions today. If it's off topic, there's no to discuss it. And of course, That's definitely off topic. What I'm speaking about is very important. Natalie Marie Bollinger was shot in the head, but she didn't need to get shot in the head. That's not something that should have happened. Done their jobs. They made a lot of mistakes, and it's not against the law to make a mistake. All right, I got too far from the. All right, I got too far from the internet. It's also raining out, so my phone is getting wet. Of course, losing the connection for a few seconds there, lost pretty much all the people viewing. That's all right. At least I'm saying what I need to say and trying to get that information to the public, because the public officials that are supposed to give a shit obviously don't. You know, I get assaulted here in Tillamook and threatened here in Tillamook, and people want to use Natalie Bollinger as their excuse. Natalie was killed by a guy named Joseph Michael Lopez. He is serving 48 years for it. There's a big difference between me and Joseph Michael Lopez, but none of these sites want to tell you the truth. It's too interesting to start off the viewers with hating me, and although half of those viewers aren't going to finish watching it, they're not going to watch long enough to realize that I'm not the culprit, that I'm not the bad guy. They're going to watch part of the way through and then decide that they're impulsively, while they're drunk or on drugs watching this shit, that they're going to fucking reach out to me to threaten my friends and family, or because they're fucked up and feeling like being a kind person and recognize that it's a fucked up situation, they'll reach out to me while they're fucked up on drugs and or alcohol to offer to help. Whew, that's overwhelming. You know, true crime is the #1 women's entertainment in America. And according to the Tillamook radio here from last year, actually. Hello, thank you. 1 in 4 people goes to bed listening to true crime. So they're literally listening to people talking about murdering people and hacking people up and poisoning people and shooting people, and it relaxes them and puts them to sleep. Now that's creepy. When you talk about stuff that's creepy, that's creepy. But then, just because it's called true crime doesn't mean that it's true. Now, when I get to where I'm going, I am going to turn off the recording here, and I'll start up another live recording on the way out. Well, it takes a while and it's getting rained on, so I will probably do a non-live recording, because really these are supposed to make me safe, but the way that this thing is doing its thing, on my channel I had over 2,000 viewers, but with the two-factor authentication I was locked out immediately because I no longer had that phone and no longer had that number. So in order to gain access to all of the private stuff on there, I have to go through a court of law and get a judge to open it up and force them to give that shit to me, even though I no longer have that phone. The reason that I had two-factor authentication forced on me is because people kept on trying to hack my account. And of course, they tried to do that to several others as well. I'm almost to where I'm going. These are the folks that I gave a bunch of money to yesterday. Might have been the day before yesterday. I think it was yesterday, to make some photocopies for me. Obviously, with me running around like a chicken with my head cut off, being in a lot of pain, not getting much sleep, and then of course there's the anxiety that I get when when people promise to do something and they say they'll do it at a certain time, and then hours later there's still a no call, no show, and there's no way to get a hold of them. Well, if we're not able to coordinate to turn in the abuse and put a stop to it, it's going to continue. It's going to continue until it is recognized. Until these people are forced to publicly recognize that Natalie Bollinger was a real person. And therefore, you don't get to pretend that she was a delusion. The people who have been assaulting me over her are real people who have been recorded. Therefore, you do not get to pretend that they are delusions. I think that's pretty simple. I just went the wrong direction because I was so busy talking and paying attention to my phone that I missed my turn off. Now we got these folks who want to be trolls, and that's the majority of my channel. The majority of these folks are people who were involved in Natalie Bollinger groups when Natalie first died. Some of them as far back as when she first disappeared and nobody knew she was dead. Some of them watched some of these YouTube channel things and these true crime things and caught an interest then and started looking and decided to hop onto the bandwagon of, well, lots of harassment. Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming here, and those of you who are not jerks that were just saying hello, well, thank you for saying hello. Thank you for not being rude. Thank you for saying hello and not making it a bunch of accusational BS and meanness. Be safe.